Well, I think we may have this going. Let's see now. I think I'm live. I'm not sure if I'm live. I think I'm live now. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, if anyone's out there now, I hope you are. You can put your comments in the comment box. I'll see it right there. I had to go over to, for those of you that's watched me in the past, I had to go over towards just to do Facebook rather than try to also go to YouTube and also go to Twitch, only because as it turns out, I'm using OBS, which is this platform in order to multi-stream, and OBS and a Mac computer don't really jive that well. So the past videos were coming off a little bit out of sync, which was pretty much sucked. So anyway. I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be teaching right now a tune called Big Road Blues by Tommy Johnson. And before we get into that, I just want to show you some of the things that I'm going to be giving away for your donations. The first thing I'm going to be giving for $10, this is a copy of my of a CD called Lost and Found. You see it just right about like there. There we go. It's got a whole bunch of tunes on it. A couple of which I'm going to actually be playing in tonight's concert. And plus, on top of that, along with this, I'm going to send a digital copy of this. There's also a guitar lesson on how I teach CC Rider, and that's a video that you can download plus the tab. So this is pretty good. For $10, I'm going to send you a digital copy of this album. This album is just Lost and Found. It's all these tunes that were taped basically of me playing live in various situations. House concerts, radio interview, theaters. It was all these bootleg tapes that were pretty good. The quality was pretty good. So it was put together called Lost and Found. For $5 extra, you're going to get that. Plus, I'm going to send you a video lesson on how I play my own version. It's my self-penned song called Toby's Boogie Woogie. And it really shows you how to boogie woogie on the guitar. And for $5 more, you get those two things. Plus, I have not released this set of lessons yet. It hasn't been released. It's called The Essential Blues and Rags Volume 2. That's going to be released probably in about 8 days or a week from now. But you're going to get it for only $20. And there's a whole bunch of lessons on there. I teach Deep River Blues, which I'll be playing tonight. Hoochie Coochie Man, Police Dog Blues, Baby Lou Blues, those last two by Blind Blake, and the Buck Rag by the Reverend Gary Davis. And with all of these, I show you variations on how to play the music. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, we'll get into right now. We get into Andreas. You're here. Good. So this is all working, and I hope it's working in sync, because that was like a really kind of a big problem before. So this is at least working in sync. Hopefully the sound and the video are right on. That's why I'm just using Facebook now. But hello to my good friend Andreas over in Germany there. And here we go. Okay, so I can see everything. And I can see any comments you guys want to make. And I'm going to play the song Big Road Blues for you right now. And then I'm going to teach it. Okay, so here we go. By myself, don't you hear me talking, Mama? Ain't going down big road by myself. If I can't carry you, I'm gonna carry somebody else. Yeah, sun going down in my back door someday. Don't you hear me talking, mama? Sun going down my back door someday. And that wind gonna blow my blues away. Well, that's part of it anyway. That's Big Road Blues. There's a few more verses in there, but I want to really kind of teach you the guitar parts. And if you're just tuning in, hey Rick, how are you, Rick? It's good to see that you're here. Up in the, if you look above, I'm pretty sure it should come up there. Yeah, above my head in the video here, there's the donation link, and there's also the tab. If you want to download the tab, the link is right there, right above my head there, and that'll take you to my website where you can donate anything you'd like, and also you can download the tab. There's 2 pages. I think there's 2 pages to this tab. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Just hold on. I can't believe I did this. Hold on for a second. I'm wondering why people didn't turn around and say, where the hell is the tab? So I'm going to upload that right now. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about, this will only take a second, folks, so bear with me. I can't believe that I just actually did not upload the tab. So I'm going to upload the tab right now for the lesson. Yeah, things been kind of crazy here. But here we go. Hold on. I'll let you know when it's up here. We can do this very, very quickly. And let me get the file up in here. There's going to be 2 files to this tab. One is just the Big Road Blues, and the other one is called Big Road Blues, some variations to that. So here we go. I'm going to upload, and so you can see, you'll see on the I'll let you know when they're up here. There's one of them, and here's the second one. I usually do this a half hour beforehand, but it was so nice. I was walking my dog Charlie. Okay, folks, the tab is up there now. So if you just refresh your page, go up to that. Hi, Tabby. Yeah, Mike, I know. I just put the tab up now, Mike. So you should see the tab for the Big Road Blues. All right, it should be right up there in about the middle of the page there. And also, it shows you also what I'm going to be giving away for your donations. So, folks, there you go. And if you're watching this live, that's really cool. Really appreciate you watching it. Okay, so before we get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about Tommy Johnson. He basically he lived in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. That's where he spent most of his time. In 1928, he recorded for the Victor, I think it was the Victor Recording Company, and he did this Big Road Blues. And if you listen carefully to the original recording, you will hear another guitar back there, and that other guitar was being played by a man named Charlie McCoy. So basically, the arrangement is close to what we think between the two of them, what was going on. But if you're going to be playing Big Road Blues, you can pretty much get away with this arrangement. It's going to work. And if you notice in the middle of the arrangement, I had put a whole bunch of other stuff in. And that's the variations that I'm really excited to show you, because when you're playing in this tuning, which is drop D tuning, and we're gonna, we'll get into that whole thing, you're gonna see basically pretty much what I'm going to be doing and what you could do also. So, okay, Andreas, you got the tab? Excellent. Okay. So let's take a look at this now. And again, I'll just... This is a 1948 Gibson LG2. This is on loan to me by a very good friend of mine. And it's just a great, great sound, really dry sound, but a big sound. It's a 14 fretter. So if this was a 12 fretter like they used to use, okay, this neck, this whole neck would be actually moved so the 12 fret comes up to here. And by moving it this way, this saddle and bridge would have moved over here. So if you notice, it's old 12 fret guitars that they used to play back in the 30s had the bridge back here, and that would have given it a little bit more of a bassier sound. So this tune is in, okay, Mike, you got your tab? Excellent. Sorry about that delay. So this tune is in drop D tuning. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your E string, the low E, and drop it an octave below your fourth string. And that's going to give you all kinds of possibilities. This guitar is a little finicky, so we want to make sure we have this in tune just right. (1948). I think that if I was that age, I probably would be finicky too. There we go. All right, so if you all have your tab out, okay, we have that. It starts off with a really great little guitar, a really great little bass line. The bass line goes. So I'm really doing with my thumb on the 6th string and coming up with my finger on the 4th string. And when I do that, after I play the 2 open, I'm going to do that on the 2nd fret. And then move it up to the 3rd fret and then to the 4th fret. So that first bar in the tab would go just like that. Now, after I do that, let me see if I can get to the comments here. Okay, there's everybody. After I do that, I'm going to come back and get my D chord. All right, I'm going to hit the 6th string again and come up and hit the F sharp and the D with my first 2 fingers. And then I'm going to go back to the... So that whole first line is... Now in the second line it repeats that again, but just this one measure. So you're doing these 2 measures. Just like that. So you remember your first measure is just bass notes, and then you have that little D chord in there, and continue with the bass notes. Now in the next measure, this is the second line, the last measure, you're going to go back to your D chord, you're going to alternate your bass between the 6th and the 5th string, and you're going to grab the D chord like this. So we have this little syncopation, so 2 separate notes, 2 separate groups, and then pinch, pinch. Now when we go into our G7 chord, we're just going to use our 1st and 2nd fingers here, and we're going to take our pinky and put it down on the 2nd string at that 3rd fret. And that's going to give you a particular sound. Let me see now. There we go. I'm going to strike the B in my bass, And I'm going to keep striking that B note in the bass the entire time I'm in the G7 chord. So we have this. But on top of that, I'm going to be playing this. Just like that. So I have that going on. And let's see if everything's all cooperating here. Okay, and we didn't get a freeze, did we, in the video? I hope we didn't, because I've been kind of monitoring this a little bit. Anyway, so let me just show you exactly what I've done. I grab all three strings, the fifth and the first and second. I grab them straight on, just like this. Then I'm going to, in the next beat, I'm going to pick up my first finger. Keep my pinky right where it is the whole time. I'm going to have the open first string in fifth, and then come in and grab that second string. So I have this. Now I'm going to put my first finger back, strike the three strings, and then pick up my first finger again, and then bass. So we have first beat, then second beat, and then just like that. And you basically repeat that. Alright, so there was a brief freeze there. Okay, just a few seconds. Well, at least I think that the audio and the video is coming out at the same time, so that's good. Alright, I hope. And anyway, and so we do that G7. Now we're going to go back to our D chord, and we're going to go between that. And I'm pretty sure he's playing a D minor in here, because he goes back and forth between the D and the D minor. And this is going to sound like this. So here we have the, again, sixth and fifth string alternating bass, and you're going to be grabbing those first and second strings to the D minor, then D, D minor, D. Finally, we get into the A7 chord. I'm going to stay on my fifth string the whole time and again grab that first and second string. So you have that. Then we're going to go back to our G7 chord. And so it's, you know, maybe a little bit of a switch to get this, and if you're not familiar with that little chord, that'll take some practice to get back and forth, but it's well worth it. Now we get back to the G7 and we have this. So I'm grabbing the fifth string and the first string together, and I use my middle finger and my thumb to grab those two notes, and my index finger comes in on the second string. Then I pick it up, then I do that again. And then back to the D, to the D minor, and back again. So that's basically, that's what we have going on here with the D and the D minor. So I'm going to play this whole thing straight through, and then I'm going to show you another cool little thing you may want to do with your thumb. Okay, so. So you can hear that, that's pretty much the Big Road Blues. Now, I'm going to show you an extra little thing that you can put in there with your thumb. It's just this. this little snapping technique, and sometimes I like to put that in. It gives it a little bit of a different sound. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my, now you could use your thumb, I use a thumb pick, but either way you want to get your thumb underneath that string, and you're gonna just pop it. Like just, and notice my wrist has to move this way in order to get that. Like that. Now don't think you're going to be doing any damage to the guitar. I was once doing this at a concert, and somebody came up to me after the first show and said, aren't you going to ruin the guitar by that? You're not going to. So you're going to snap it, get that nice snap sound, and notice my wrist has to come out this way, and then my wrist comes in this way to grab the fourth string. And you can do this. So you can see that movement with my wrist. So that's just a little extra thing that you can put in there. It's just a really nice way of getting that in. Looks like the Facebook thing froze again, I think. Yeah, I think it froze again. I don't know what's going on. We don't seem to have much luck with technology, but hopefully we get that straightened out. Snapping cleans the strings. You're right, Andreas. You're darn right. It does clean the strings, but you got to really loosen them and then snap them, and you get a whole nother day out of your strings. Very good. Okay, so I think we pretty much have that first part of the Big Road Blues. And now let's take a look at, make it a little bit more complex. We're going to take a look at the variations here that I was throwing in, because there's a ton of them, and hopefully this will inspire you to come up with some of your own ideas in drop D tuning. So let's take a look at the first thing that I did, and this is your second page, Big Road Blues Variations. And for those of you that may be just joining us, you have right up here in the on the top of the right above my head, you'll have a download tab where you can download the tab, and then there's also a donation link, and that'll take you to some really cool page where you see I'm giving away all these kind of things, all kinds of things. So hopefully that you can help me out there in terms of, because I'm basically out of work at this point. Okay, enough of that. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be playing this little bluesy thing. So I'm really playing the notes of a D major scale in octaves, of D major chord in octaves, and then I go into a little bit of a seventh. So let's take a look at this. I have two Ds. Now I'm going to place my fingers on the 4th fret on the 6th and 4th string. There's the F sharp, or the major third. Then I'm going to go to the 5th. So there's basically the 3 notes that make up a D chord. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to take it a little further. I'm going to go to the B and the B, and then I'm going to come up to the C and the C, then back to the B and B, then to the A and A, and then finally to the F sharp. So I have So that's basically the very first, the first couple of measures that I'm going to be doing there. Okay, and let's take a look at the second 2 measures in that first line. Here I'm going to be doing a lot of doubling with my thumb and my finger at the same time, a lot of pinching. here I'm just grabbing everything. So the same notes that we played, and you have those eighth notes going on the whole time except for the last set, just like that. Now, right from here, I'm going to do an interesting little switch. I'm going to go over and grab my third finger up on the, now it's a G note, but it's at the 5th fret on the D, on the 6th string. So here, what I basically have is this. I'm going to play this next measure, and this little fingering, the way of playing a G chord, is going to open up all kinds of ideas for you, and some of those ideas I'm going to demonstrate here. I'm going to keep the 6th string going just like this. And meanwhile, while I'm doing that, I'm going to be playing these notes. So basically, you could see, you pretty much see how that's working. All right, I'll do that again. I'm pinching now all these little notes. So you just get. Those are my notes, so I'm starting. Then I could bring down my first finger and then add my second finger. So it's. And notice the bass is just coming down as quarter notes, but I'm playing eighth notes on top. So it's a pinch, note, pinch, note. Now I'm going to pick up my fingers and get to the third string, second string of the 3rd fret. And then hit the open 1st string. So we have. Now the next measure. So that's just a nice little way of using your first finger to grab a bunch of these little notes in here. So here my first finger has to jump from the 2nd string to the 3rd string. And then at this point, basically what I'm going to have is I'm going to have my a little bass run. Get that nice, just like that. So I'm getting the D with my thumb, and then I hit the 4th string with my first finger. And then I just come down to it. And then I do that again. And then I just stay on that 6th string at that very end. Now when I go into my A chord, I'm going to be barring my A chord on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. So I have that little 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string going on. Let's see, let's get that all going well. All right, got that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string barred with my first finger, and I'm going to play this little boogie woogie type thing. Hitting the thumb on the 5th string, grabbing the 3rd string. Then my thumb hits the 5th string at the 3rd fret and the 4th fret. Then I pick that up, I grab the 4th string, 3rd string, and then put my finger on the F sharp note. And then I do a little run, but this is a run that basically off of a G chord. So I get that. It's almost very similar to what I was doing here. It's and then finally and then back to our D chord. So that's the first set of ideas. And a lot of these little ideas, you know, you can fool around with. There's all kinds of variations you could do with just these little groups of. Experiment with these ideas of these octaves. With the G chord, you can even hit a high G note. You can get all these cool little notes with that first finger while keeping your bass here or alternating your bass. That opens up a G chord here in a different way than playing it down here when you're in this drop D tuning. So let's take a look now at the second part, and this is the last 3 lines of the tablature on the second page. We're staying in a D chord here, and I'm going to be using my pinky to go back and forth between the B note on the 4th fret and then on 3rd string, and then picking it up again. So listen to how this is going to sound. So my alternating bass is between the 6th and 4th string. Just like that. And I'm using my middle finger on the 2nd string and my index finger on the 3rd string. And you can see I get my pinky comes out and then pick it up again. So I have this. Now I do that like 3 times and then I just stay on the B note. Like that. Now I'm going to, in the next couple of measures, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to resolve it against a D7 chord. Gotta get used to this neck width. So here, let's take a look at that last measure. So we're grabbing the 2nd and 3rd string, the D and the A, and then I'm going to come down and get the open 2nd and 4th string. Then I'm going to come down and get the C and the A, a little piece of a D7 chord. So we have. Now my 2 bass notes are going to be A and going into the F sharp to get into my G. Like that. So I'm going to be getting into my G chord there. So all together in that last measure, and now I'm going to be moving it up into that G position that I showed you earlier. And here, I'm going to be alternating the bass between the 6th and the 4th string while playing this little pattern here with my first finger. So let's take a look at that. Here, get the 6th string, alternating between the 6th and 4th. In the first beat, I'm going to hit the bass and then the B flat note. In the second beat, I'm going to pick that finger up and hit my 2 open 4th and open 2nd. And then bring my finger down on the D. So we have. Now I'm going to pick that finger up, hit the 6th string again and the open 1st. And then G. So we have this. And then the last bass note. Now I'm going to bring my first finger back up to that B flat note And I'm going to be alternating between the B flat and the open B. So again, the bass is between the 6th and the 4th string, and I get that little B flat note in there. See? And my first finger is grabbing that 3rd string, and my alternating with my 2nd finger on the 2nd string. And then finally into that F note, and then it's going to take me down into the next measure, which is back to our D, but I'm going to do this little run. So I'm going to hit the bass and play all these little single notes against it. After that, I'm going to come in with my first finger and get the C to the C sharp. And that sets me up for my A chord. So I'll do that. Now I'm into my A chord, the last line here, and we have this. So I'm staying right on my 5th string the whole time and moving chromatically down from the A down to the G. And then finally I do this little lick. It's a little blues lick in D. And here I'm not too fussy with my fingers. I may use just my one finger coming up. So it's any way that you can grab those strings will be fine. And then finally I do that bass run again, but I go backwards. And the last measure. So that basically covers the variations that you could be playing. You've got a lot of little single note runs. You have a new way of playing a G chord in the drop D tuning, and you could be using not only octaves but little bass run. And against the G, and back to the D. So you have all these little options of little things that you can do. So that's just another way of using it. These ideas, you just try to throw them all together, experiment with them a whole lot, and you should come up with some really kind of cool things. So that's it for the Big Road Blues. Tonight I'm going to be doing a concert in my studio, and that's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have about 10 tunes. I'm probably going to be doing like a Charlie Patton tune, a Doc Watson tune. It's going to be all across the board. Did you switch between? Yes, Susan, I switched between the... I did that. Yes, I get that. That's the last measure. Like that. Oh, here's the last part. This isn't in the tab, but I hear Tommy do this at the very end. So I'm just taking that D shape, I move it up to an F, and then back. You're welcome, Sue. And then A7, back into the D. Doesn't this guitar sound really cool? Anyway, so folks, that's the That's the lesson. And again, I just say for $10 donation, I'm going to send you the digital copy of this. There's like 15 songs on here. Toby's Boogie Woogie, that's what I teach. Baseball Blues, Bird Nest Bound by Charlie Patton. There's a bunch of tunes in here. Jitterbug Swing by Booker T. Washington, Bukka White. Keep on Grumbling, which is a tune I learned from Jack Owens down in Mississippi. My own version of Swing Bean, an instrumental. All kinds of Spoonful by Willie Dixon is on here. I Want My Hands on It by Big Bill Broonzy. I Know Your Rider, that's my version, is on here, which I'm going to do tonight. And that's only $10. And the extra, there's an extra guitar lesson on here, and I show you how to play. I forgot what this is. Hold on, let me just tell you what's the guitar lesson. That's all. Oh, CC Rider. So I'm going to show you how to play CC Rider with video, download videos and everything like that with the tab. For $15 donation, you're going to get this. So you're just adding another $5, and I'm going to show you how to play the instrumental on here, Toby's Boogie Woogie. And that's a whole nother video lesson. It's like 2 video lessons and a CD for only $15. And then the big thing is, if you only add $5 to that, this set of lessons isn't even released yet. It's volume 2 of Essential Blues and Rags. I'm going to be showing you how to play Hoochie Coochie Man, Deep River Blues, 2 Blind Blake tunes, Police Dog Blues, and Baby Lou Blues. And then the last tune is Buck Rag by Reverend Gary Davis. And then the last thing I always like to mention is my Premier Membership Club. That contains everything I've ever put together. Now there's over 500 instructional videos, tablature you can download. There's all kinds of movies up there, tips for guitar players, guitars like this, and you'll get a year's access to that for a donation of $60. That's normally $125. So anyway, if you can do that, that would be great. Now, the last thing I want to mention before you go away is that I will be away. I will be away for the next 2 weeks. I'll be away next Thursday and the following Thursday. So after that, I will be back on the I'll be here on the 29th, doing a whole nother lesson and a whole nother concert. But for the next 2 weeks, I will be away. Taking care of a whole bunch of family type business. So at any rate, I hope to see you tonight at 7 p.m. I'm glad that hopefully I think the Facebook thing was working out. You're very welcome, Andreas. Warren, you're very welcome. Thank you. Jocelyn. Remember that? Devil's Dream. Yeah. Yes, that's right, Jocelyn. That's just another one in there. Remember Devil's Dream? That was boy. We used to do that in Harlan Henry Band. Jocelyn Adams there in the comment section is an incredible singer, and she was a lead singer in this band, this country band I was in called the Harlan Henry Band. You're very welcome, Andreas. Warren, thank you so much. Dave, good to see you, my man. Good to see that you came out. Really, really good to see that you came out. That's my friend Dave out in Pennsylvania. And I may be playing Godfrey's in the fall, in November. So we can have a cup of tea together. All right, Michael, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. And I will see all of you. I'll basically see all of you, hopefully, 7 p.m. tonight for the concert. Take care, folks. Really good to be teaching you all.